Welcome to Does It Matter by Brainy Ballers, where we dissect the game with cutting-edge analytics to give you the upper hand. We analyze everything from hand sizes to average depth of targets to uncover hidden trends that no one else sees. Say goodbye to guesswork and hello to data-driven domination. Because here at Brainy Ballers, we don't just watch the game, we understand it. So get ready, it's podcast time.
Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we really try to cut through the noise for you.
Get you properly informed.
Exactly. So today, we're tackling a big one, especially if you're into fantasy football.
Oh, yeah.
Can a rookie NFL tight end's yardage actually predict how well they'll do later on in fantasy?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
We've got some really fascinating source material here, full of historical trends, stats. We're going to dig in.
Yeah. Our mission really is to pull out the key insights on this one-metric rookie yards. We want to see what its real predictive power is.
Okay.
So you know what actually matters when you're looking at these guys long-term.
Right, like a potential cheat code for your draft prep.
You could call it that, helping you evaluate talent a bit more clearly.
Okay, let's unpack this then. The study we're looking at, it focused on the top 50 fantasy finishers.
Right, using PPR scores.
And they went way back, didn't they? To 2003.
All the way back to 03.
Yeah. And this top 50 thing, that was deliberate, like a happy medium.
Exactly. Wide enough to get a good sample, but you avoid those, total outliers at the bottom, messing things up.
Gotcha. And they needed a comparison group, right?
That's where the bottom 10 came, in players finishing 41st to 50th each year, for contrast.
Makes sense. So what did they find initially? Did anything jump out?
Oh, definitely. What's fascinating here is how quickly a trend showed up in their first look, the TE averages chart.
Which was?
Pretty clear, actually. Higher rookie yardage generally meant better fantasy performance down the line.
Okay, that feels intuitive, maybe.
It does, but the numbers really backed it up. Get this. In 20 out of 21 seasons, or 95.2%, the guys consistently ending up in the top 10 for fantasy had way higher rookie yards than the guys finishing, say, 31st to 50th.
Significantly higher.
Significantly. It really suggested they were onto something important.
Okay, so a strong trend, but a trend isn't a specific rule you can use for your draft, is it?
Exactly. That's where it gets really interesting.
So the goal became finding a number, a threshold.
Precisely. A single rookie yardage figure that seems to link up with more consistent, top-level fantasy production.
So how'd they find that? Must have been tricky.
Well, they used something called a differences chart. It helped them compare the top guys versus the bottom guys across different yardage benchmarks.
Refining it down.
Constantly refining, testing different cutoffs. And after all that testing, an optimal threshold emerged.
Okay, don't leave us hanging. What was it?
Do you want to start dominating your drafts? At BrainyBallers.com, we've researched every metric under the sun for you to find which ones are best linked to fantasy points. You can access hundreds of metrics to sharpen your scouting ability so you know which metrics matter and which are just noise. Stop guessing on which thresholds to look for within each metric. Big numbers can be misleading or irrelevant. Our Ultimate Athlete Blueprints reveal essential scouting metrics, their importance, and benchmarks within each metric that help predict a player's probability of being a success or bust. Elevate your scouting ability with Brainy Ballers Ultimate Athlete Blueprints today. Click the link in the description. Now back to the show.
The number that popped out was 226 yards.
226. That's specific.
Yeah. Now, they often rounded it to 250 just to make it easier to talk about.
Easier to remember.
But that 226-yard mark, statistically, produced a 49.2% higher rate of top 10 appearances compared to the bottom 10 group.
Almost 50% higher chance of being a top 10 guy if you hit 226 as a rookie.
That's what the data showed. That right there raises an important question about how we scout these rookies.
Okay, but how did they really nail this down? Make sure it wasn't just a coincidence in the data?
Good question. You always have to validate these things.
Did they use, standard statistical methods?
Absolutely. They ran a Pearson correlation analysis.
Pearson, right. That measures how strongly two things are linked.
Exactly. It came out as 0.311.
Is that good? It sounds kind of low, maybe.
Actually, no. For something involving world-class athletes and performance prediction.
Right. Lots of variables there.
Anything over 0.1 is usually considered meaningful, so 0.301 is quite strong.
Huh. How strong compared to other things people look at?
Well, let's connect this to the bigger picture. Think about quarterback draft capital, like where a QB gets drafted. People put a lot of stock in that.
For sure. High pick equals future star.
Right. A similar study found the Pearson value for QB draft capital predicting success was a negative 0.219. So compared to that, a positive 0.311 for tight end rookie yards looks pretty robust, doesn't it?
Yeah, that really puts it in perspective. It suggests this yardage number is a surprisingly decent signal.
A surprisingly reliable one, almost like a little tell, you know?
Okay, so this strong signal, the 226 yards, the 0.311 correlation, has this always been the case? Or are things changing in the NFL?
That's another thing they looked at comparing across the decades. And they found that the influence of hitting that 226-yard range, well, it has diminished slightly over time.
So it's getting weaker.
A little bit, yeah. But, and this is key, it definitely still remains a significant factor for finding guys who consistently perform in the top 10.
So it's still useful, just maybe not quite as strong as it was, say, 15 years ago.
Exactly. Think of it like an old, reliable tool. Still works, still valuable, even if newer things have come along. It endures.
Okay, so let's bring it all together. What does this all mean for you, the listener, trying to build a winning fantasy team?
Well, the main takeaway is that this 226-yard mark, it's a really useful optimal range to keep in mind.
For predicting consistency at the top end for tight ends.
Right. It can seriously enhance your talent evaluation for rookies. It shows a clear, statistically significant correlation.
But it's not a magic bullet, I assume.
Definitely not. It's a valuable tool, a strong aid for making more informed decisions, but it's not some standalone crystal ball that predicts the future perfectly.
Use it as part of the bigger picture.
Precisely. And maybe the final thought here is, consider how deeply understanding just one metric like this can help with complex decisions. And makes you wonder, right, how many other hidden patterns, maybe similar signals, might be waiting out there to be uncovered in other areas you care about?